Hey there, Liz. How you doing?
I am good. Thank you, Mr. Robot. We have all missed you. Where have you been?
Oh, that's a great question. Mostly work, I suppose. I'm a busy bee, and people are booking Reiki sessions with me, which is always time occupying. And on that note, I kind of wanted to show people that I'm kind of redoing the website. So as you can see, it's myhealing.site. But the point is I do want to compile all the information I've essentially so far, and it's taken me forever, but I'm gonna build like a library of summarized data and another bit of information is I'm gonna try and make for anything I don't feel like writing about, I'm gonna make like audio and other stuff on YouTube so you guys can follow me at everything from above or the higher mind. I don't know how you guys find YouTube channels, but that's my new channel. I got no subscribers, no videos, but that's kind of the update. You guys can give me a follow. I will be doing live healing as soon as I have enough followers. Liz mentioned you need like a lot of followers, right, to get live.
Yeah, I forgot what the number is. I think it's oh no, you have to get monetized. That's the thing. So you need 4,000 watch hours, a
Oh my
thousand
goodness.
subscribers, and then you apply to go live. But then if you're like
Wow.
me, you get turned down because they don't like that. That's okay. We can arrange to do live Zoom shows. It's fine.
Oh yeah, and on that note, actually, um, Liz, are you still doing live CTT like streams?
Yeah, so every Monday at 9 a.m. we do a live group, and then but you and I are going to get together and do some Reiki and CTT together and see what happens when we get our guinea pigs through the door and
Yeah.
see if it's more effective healing them that way. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, so yeah, to reiterate, um, I thought it'd be cool if we can kind of join forces on like a live healing stream because I've actually had a lot of healing experiences through YouTube lives from healers, specifically Shaman Oaks. So anyone can go check his channel out. He has a very cheap Patreon. He heals live. Anyways, I just always wanted to try uh, healing like a very massive group of people. I have healed about 300 people at a time. That's been my max so far.
Wow.
But you got a lot of followers, so if we can get like 1,000 people to watch a live event, I think that'd be a really fun experiment.
Yeah, it'll be great. So what are we doing tonight, Mr. Robot? What do you have in store for us?
Well, I mean, we haven't talked in a while, and I'm always kind of circling through certain ideas. And something I was thinking of the other day, just for whatever reason, was, I mean, so people are getting organs like made from your DNA, and I mean, it's not like in massive production kind of thing. It's more of like experimental like
Mhm.
type of thing. So anyways, I feel like we can kind of just imagine one step forth and wonder. I think a very basic question is does a clone have a soul? Stuff like that. So I feel like we can kind of there's this situation, there's another situation I'll touch on in a moment, but there's a couple kind of soul seeking questions we can dive down.
So, yes, it does.
Okay, cool. Well, let's pinpoint our source. Who are you asking?
Jesus.
Okay. Okay, so Jesus, first of all, let's ask him one other question. If he also goes by the name Yahshua.
That's his original name.
Okay, cool. Because that's the way a lot of people refer to him, and Americans aren't familiar with that. So, anyways, um, can you ask if a clone would have a aspect of the original soul, a clone, or if it's a new soul completely?
Does it have an aspect of the original soul? There's elements of it. So there's a lot of spillover. Yes.
And does Jesus think we can transfer your consciousness from your dying body into a nice, clean, new clone of yourself?
No.
Yeah, so consciousness is a very interesting thing altogether, and that's hours of conversation we can have. Um, what does he think about that? People who want to transfer their consciousness into a new body. Is that possible?
No, it's not possible.
Okay. So Jesus is essentially saying we have to reincarnate.
Yes.
Can we basically choose to die and then reincarnate into our clone body?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Well, uh, who knows if that's ever going to happen? Can we ask Jesus if, you know, if Jesus knows if there's any human clones on the planet right now?
Yes, there are. There's a couple.
And do they have like source energy type souls in them?
They have source energy type cells in them. No, they have is it source? But they're cut from source.
So they're
Okay,
kind of
so they're
they're
not
empty.
necessarily cut from source. It
They're
looks
diminished.
it looks like they're actually fragments of the original soul.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's okay. Well, um, so when you talk about fragments, there is a being we've basically channeled him a couple times. He channels through Esther,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to be very specific because we've accidentally channeled the wrong Abraham once. So let's actually pull in Abraham, who is channeled through Esther Hicks, if you can.
Okay.
And let's ask Abraham. Um, so the reason I'm bringing Abraham is because he talks about the like huge spectrum of what your soul consists of. That we're multidimensional. Abraham basically says that we're um, living in all times at the same time, like in the 1400s, and it's this huge uh, thing that our soul is broken up into, and that our soul is very big compared to what we think, basically, because our opinion, the basic human opinion is that our soul is just in our own body, and Abraham would kind of say, well, um, it's a lot more than that. So, can we ask Abraham if the clone soul is anything similar to like your body if it was in the past or future compared to now?
Yes, it's very similar. Yes.
So, I'm sorry, I was actually slightly mistaken in Abraham basically does think that, but I think Cryon actually uh, says this a lot more than Abraham does. So, to be more accurate, if we can channel the being who goes by Cryon, who is channeled through Lee Carroll, if we can
Cryon
connect to that being.
channel through. Okay, I have them.
Okay, first of all, what is Cryon doing right now? What is he up to, or that entity or collective?
Um, it's more of a conscious mind construct.
Okay,
What are you doing? Just waiting to waiting to answer questions, really.
yeah. So okay, so on that premise, we need to ask if they're accurate. Can you ask Cryon? He answers questions all day. Can we ask him if he comes from a place of knowledge or is he just, you know, making stuff up?
From a place of knowledge. I feel like Cryon is kind of the go-between this person and the Matrix. So Cryon is a tool that brings information down.
Okay, cool. Okay, so on that note, mechanical, can you ask Cryon if they are similar to Metatron?
No.
How does Cryon think they differ from Metatron?
Because it says it's its own entity.
Would Cryon say that Metatron is more powerful and robust than Cryon?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Um, so this actually is kind of bringing me to something I wrote about. Something very interesting I found the other day was three different channels were channeling Archangel Michael, and all three of them got something that you also got too, was that it was more of like this kind of like a construct kind of type thing, and that it was more like a matrix, like mathematical thing, kind of like Metatron. Um, can you ask Cryon what he thinks about angels?
They're useful. They're very useful.
But does Cryon think angels are have human qualities?
No, in his own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions.
Right. Would Cryon say that a angel is more of a, or I should say, would he say that it's more like a mathematical program, like a computer program kind of a thing? An angel?
No, they have souls. I mean,
Well,
technically, everything's a mathematical program,
right.
but are they just a mathematical program with no soul? No, they have souls.
But are they responsible for what we call reality?
No.
What does Cryon think is the reason reality exists?
What do you think the reason exists? What is it? The reason? Gravity.
Yeah, so one of the weirdest things I could basically come across is, we gotta imagine like a triangle of here's information, and then we're finding out more and more and more. And the top of it is, okay, the universe exists. Why? It's, was there something before the universe? So does Cryon know if there was anything before the universe existed?
Yes, millions of other universes.
Cool. That aligns to a lot of the information I found that there's a lot of other universes. And the most interesting part I found about those other universes is that in some of them, consciousness is completely different than this, and that we would completely not recognize it, according to the sources.
Would
Um,
consciousness be different in the other universes? Is it different consciousness? I feel like consciousness is the same, but it depends upon what level of consciousness you're talking about.
yeah.
But overall, the basic like formula for consciousness is still the same.
Can you ask Cryon why there's so many universes?
Why are there so many universes? Because this is just an ongoing, never ending war.
What is? I already know the answer. Let's, you know, white and dark or light and dark, right? But
It is. It's the war between the light and the dark, but it's ongoing. It never stops because mathematically it just keeps extending itself.
okay, so this is what's weird. Um, I didn't go to physics school classes or anything, but I do know a property, one of the laws of physics is that matter cannot be created or destroyed. It's just transferred and whatever you want to call it. So, how do we get this from, where did everything come from? You know, was there a nothingness? Because what was, this is the Earth, very human perspective of time, but what was before the universe? All universes. It maybe Klein might know.
What was before all the universes? It was emptiness.
But what sparked there to be something?
What sparked there to be something? It's almost like it was a vibration. I see it as, I can only describe it to you as this. I see like nothing. Everything is like pitch black, okay?
Yeah,
But it looks like they're like little pixelated, you know what I mean? When I say pixelate, it looks
yeah.
like pixelated shapes, okay?
Hmm.
And for whatever reason, these pixelated shapes, they started vibrating and started moving. It's
Okay.
almost like it had a consciousness. It started to form a consciousness.
Yeah.
And then it says, well, okay, this is great. We're just vibrating and we're moving and we're starting to rock back and forth. But how do we sustain ourselves? And
Well,
mm-hmm,
um, I feel like we have to tap into a higher dimension for this question. You're very familiar with Erudif.
yeah, yeah.
Can we pull in this crazy guy here?
Meredith, yes. And it's the emptiness wanted to sustain itself, and the only way it could sustain itself was and to expand was to break apart, and then it became light versus dark. But where did the light come from?
Yeah, what does the narrative say?
Where did the light come from, Meredith? It was so the vibrational aspect of that emptiness, it started to change frequency. And the light just became the light through a higher frequency. And then the emptiness became the dark. So now you have polar opposites, light and dark. And because of the friction between the two, what I'm getting is that this caused it to expand, because now you want, what do you want more of? Do you want more light or do you want more dark? So then here comes this starting of the war.
Yeah.
And through the war, there becomes a greater level of consciousness. And through the consciousness, it wants to be self-sustaining. And it really just grows from there. How can we be self-sustaining? Well, we create a universe. Now it's going to be the universe versus the dark.
Okay, well, here's the weird part about that I think is worth wrapping our head around is that there was a space to exist within before there was anything. So why was there, you know what I mean? So it's like who created that space for the universe to, unravel and find itself. So I wonder if Erudif knows if anyone created the very first mechanism for space and the universe to exist within.
Who created the mechanism for space and the universe to exist within? It's just a natural consequence, is what I'm getting from Erudif.
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird because it's just completely bizarre that anything exists in the first place. You know,
Mm,
I think it's completely reasonable to say that nothing should exist, you know, like the
nothing
fact
and
that,
everything.
like, nothing, yeah, literally nothing should exist at all. But all this stuff came from nothing. And it's, what was the source of this, uh, gazillion bits of mass? You know what I mean? All this, all the elements, everything came from something, and you could do the Big Bang method or theory and, say everything was condensed. And for lack of better understanding, I think this is kind of a good representation. God, it sucks not being on a Mac. I'm not using my Mac right now. But, we got universe. No, these aren't universes. I'm sorry. These are just atoms. But then we got whole solar systems. We got massive black holes, supermassive black holes, whatever this is. But this is what's interesting. Why did this come from that? uh, why should there be anything at all?
Because it was a consciousness that kept reprogramming itself to expand, like
Can
we
we
are.
can we ask Erudif why there was an original consciousness of the universe?
Do you know why there was an original consciousness of the universe? it was the vibrational energy that created the consciousness. Once the vibrational energy gave, light, or no, sorry, gave um, life to these pixels, then the pixels became alive. It sort of woke them up. And then they wanted to sustain themselves. I mean, that's what I keep getting. They sustain themselves. Do you know who's behind that? Erudif does not know.
Okay, perfect. That's all we need to know. Because Erudif, um, I think is only sixth or seventh density, and I think you got to be at least ninth or more to maybe get past this blockade of information. But um, can we ask Erudif if he thinks there is a god that created this moment, this Big Bang kind of moment?
Well, there's been several gods because there's always a god of the universe.
Right.
So, way back when, many sort of universes ago,
Hmm.
uh, there were lots of Big Bangs.
Okay.
And the bangs were to separate and expand the universe into more universes.
Can you ask Erudif what causes a parallel universe if why would it be a whole nother universe but parallel to ours? Why is there parallel universes?
Why parallel universes? Well, they are considered parallel universes when um there's no gravitational pull.
Hmm.
But because of space and time, then it looks like it's just, linear and not parallel.
Okay, I'll have to wrap my head around that one. Um, let's see. I'm looking at all my information right here to see if there's anything. Oh, I have the best topic. Let's go to YouTube real quick. Um,
Just don't hit play.
yeah, I got you. So I was completely flabbergasted when I heard this guy channeling because instantaneously I knew that it was something from where Bashar is from or Bashar himself. And I actually texted you. I was like, "Hey, is this Bashar?" And
Oh,
it
yeah.
was so mind-blowing. So I was like, it was just so weird because this guy is channeling and it literally sounds just like Bashar, the same speech patterns. I mean, I even wrote an article on it. How let's see, I mean, he has the same speech patterns. Let's see, he says, "All right, in this day of your time." So I mean, there's all these literally same things Bashar says, which freaked me out. Trying to find like a, I guess there's no photos, obviously, uh, but they have amazing information, and it's the same information that Bashar would do, but different stuff. It's totally new, different information. So, anyways, I just wanted to see. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to find like a picture we can kind of zoom in on, or whatever. Um, okay, never mind. It's gonna do a little ad, but if I could just see his face and we can kind of tune into him. Sorry for this. So, you guys can go listen to them on your own because we don't want to infringe on YouTube, whatever copyright and stuff. But I think what we all need to know, I mean, people who care about channeling, is the being that this guy channels. His name is Tyler. Let's see. His name is I'm looking at my phone. Tyler something. Anyways, can we tune into either Tyler or the being known as Ryok?
Um,
Let's just go.
okay.
Let's go straight to Ryok. This being who claims to be from the Essassani race.
The Asonic race,
No, the Essassani.
Essassani race. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so yeah, there's Bashar. I mean, yeah, sorry, this is Daronka. Who knows what they look like? Just random images. But just for reference, can you ask Ryok or Rio, or I mean, what I've heard is he goes by the name Ryoka. Um, if they are actually also Bashar.
Are you actually also Bashar? There's elements of Bashar in this collective. Yes.
And then I guess the next obvious question is if Ryoka, let's just use this image, is actually channeling through this guy. I think his name's Tyler.
Yes.
Why does he sound like Bashar?
Because they align very closely with Bashar.
So the weirdest thing to me, I mean, like I love it and I think it's awesome, but like the weirdest thing to me is why do we got two different aliens from the same like I'm gonna just say planet maybe or whatever, both channeling information like is this it's I mean, like why not, right? But it's weird. I mean, what is interesting is that Ryok actually does mention Bashar, but Bashar never mentions this guy.
Hmm.
Maybe we can ask Ryoka why Bashar never mentions Ryoka.
A competition.
Okay, well, I don't know what to say about that. It's funny to me. Um, all right. Yeah, anyways, it's very interesting. SSRN is a cool race. That's as far as we can go on that. Maybe since you're talking to Ryok right now, though, can you ask Ryok or Ryoka what created the universe?
Hmm. I'm sorry, what was the question?
Oh, just if you could ask Ryoka what created the universe originally.
What created the universe originally? God. This current universe created by God.
And would Ryoka, or as he now likes to call himself Rio, would Rio say that God has human characteristics?
Would you say that God has human characteristics? Absolutely. The humans are cut from God. Yes.
But does from Rio's perspective, their interpretation is God more of just the reason why everything exists, or is God more like a person kind of in charge of things?
More or less, or is God in charge? Both the reason we exist and both and also in charge.
What does Rio think of Cryon, who is channeled through Lee Carroll?
Um, just a different sort of source of information. Do you believe it's good information? I mean, it's good information. I don't feel like it's as powerful as it could be, but it's just certainly like a different angle, a different slant.
Yeah. And actually, speaking of like, the power of the information, I feel like, besides the obvious higher things that we can talk to, I feel like this is kind of one of the biggest things we can kind of talk to. Can we ask Rio what they think about Metatron?
What do you think about Metatron? That it's bogus.
Yeah, so what's interesting about Metatron is we've actually got that it's kind of like this construct that we've created. But what's interesting is that it exists still, and it does still try to help, and it does all the things that we basically said it would do. The difference is that we thought, I mean, the source of it is, I guess, the debate. Um, why does he say bogus?
Why do you think it's bogus? Because it's a conscious mind construct.
Yeah, exactly. So he just answered exactly the way that they should have if they were accurate. Um, okay, so that lends itself to ask, who does Rio think we should ask uh, questions in relation to humans?
Relations and relations to humans. Yourself. I get what they're
Interesting.
saying because we are all from God, so God is within each of us. And we instinctively know all the answers. We just have to find that part of ourselves.
Hmm. Dang, I just thought of something super epic that I wanted to touch on, but I forgot about it. Oh, our DNA. So, from my understanding, let's just ask Rio. If we have a lot of different alien DNA in our human DNA,
Do we have a lot of different alien DNA and our human DNA? No, but that's what they want. They want their DNA in human DNA.
does Rio think that the Draconians kind of like rule the Earth?
No,
Can you ask Rio where the Draconians are in the universe?
I feel like they're off of the earth plane.
Yeah, but are they, when you say that, do you mean off of like the third dimension up into a higher dimension, or do you mean just somewhere else?
They're in a whole nother dimension.
Yeah, I mean, so from what I know, they should be in a higher dimension. They should basically be in non-physical. But the question is do they have any power over humans, the Draconians?
Yes, a little bit, yes.
So from like the million different sources I've listened to for years, the story is that these guys basically for whatever reason don't want to mess with the earth like at all or whatever, and they're the reason why we don't have, like aliens landing in our front yard because, they kind of come in and then these guys like chase them out. So that's the story I'm
Do you guys
told.
chase the Draconians chase people off the Earth plane? No, they stop them from entering the Earth plane.
Yeah. Why are they so concerned about like us making actual contact?
Because they're all in a war for our souls and they want to win the war.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I think that's a great question for Rio. What does Rio think an alien can do with our soul? Like, are they eating it, or are they storing it in like a jar? You know what I mean? Like, what are they doing with this?
Yeah.
Like,
what,
what's the point?
what are they doing with our souls? They need them to take them over to the dark side and fuel the dark.
Yeah, but then what? Like, what do they get out of that?
What do you get? What do they get out of that? Absolute and complete control.
So the only reason I find like some of the soul stuff bewildering is I've just heard so many aliens channeled, and a lot of them feel very superior, and most of them just think we're like insects and don't really care about us too much. And it's just weird to hear that they like care about our souls. So that's kind of where I get hung up, I guess. It's like we're so technologically and spiritually not advanced. We haven't gone through the billions of years of evolution yet. We're very infantile. Um, so so yeah, I mean like so Erudif, um, what's cool about Erudif is he finds beings around the universe and they channel through Robert. And they used to only channel like positive beings, and then they were like, people were like, hey, we also want like the negative perspective to kind of see like what else is going on in the universe. And then they channeled a 70% uh malevolent being, which happened to be like this draconian race. And they basically thought we were like insignificant because and then on a side note, they said Palladians were pretentious. So let's ask Erudif what he thinks about the, I don't know, reptilians thinking that Palladians are pretentious.
Yes, they're very superficial. They are pretentious. Why do you say that they're pretentious? Because they're wearing a mask. They're masquerading that they're good, but
This is Erudif talking.
yes.
Okay. And what else were you getting?
Um, but what? What are you saying they're masquerading? But they all have an agenda.
It's just so funny that you're getting that because Erudif supposedly is a Palladian himself.
Are you a Palladian? A mixture, yes.
Does he think that he's a good alien?
You believe you're a good alien? Ultimately, no. Tries to give us good information and tries to be more, softer than the other aliens. but ultimately they all have a pre-programmed agenda.
Can you ask him if he's a type 1 or a type 2 being?
Type 1. Type 2.
Can you ask him if he's a type 2 benevolent or type 2 malevolent being?
Benevolent. Malevolent. Sorry.
Okay, then, and then from there, can you ask him what percentage malevolent would he say he is?
About 60.
So what's so cool about Erudif is that he actually goes through this information and says, even though there's these beings and they're malevolent and benevolent, um, that's kind of like from the human perspective, and what it really means is how much they care about us versus their own selves. And at the point, I'm just gonna have to assume of let's just say 60% malevolent. What that means from what he said is that the beings in that system care a whole lot more about themselves than other beings. And let's ask him if that's accurate.
Is that an accurate statement? I mean, they do care, yes, but that pre-programmed agenda was already within them. They can't escape the agenda.
Can you ask him what happens when a Palladian dies?
What happens when a Palladian dies? It doesn't die. It
Oh,
just recycles.
can you ask him, which is inaccurate because who knows if there's hims and hers in space. Can you ask Erudif if if he's physical or non-physical?
Are you a physical being? If he wants to be, he can be a physical being, but most of the time he's non-physical.
So what's so interesting about that is he actually talks about that a lot, where essentially what he says is that these beings are all so advanced that they've evolved to not need bodies, and that when we see entities like them, they're actually just materializing something there, kind of like as a stand-in, because they're basically not physical. So, as we do in proper Mr. Robot fashion, an experiment. So
Uh-oh.
I know, it'll be crazy, and probably won't work. But let's ask Erudif if he can materialize a physical version in my room next to me.
Can you materialize a physical version in Mr. Robot's room next to him? No, but he's happy to walk into your body and materialize himself as you, as in materialize himself through you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, tell him to do that and to move my fingers.
Oh my God. That is so dangerous.
Well, YOLO. You only live once. I mean, we know
Well,
that's
yeah,
not
that
true
might
because
be it.
we live more than once, so whatever.
um,
We're here for proof and scientific evaluation. So I feel like we need some real data. We tried with Bashar, he failed miserably. He didn't materialize next to me. So let's get Erudif to see if he can move my fingers next to me.
okay,
Something.
Erudith is inside of your being now, and I feel like he is trying to move. There's a lot of resistance.
Okay, I'll just try to open up my chakras real quick because
But I do feel like he just moved your feet.
hmm. I mean, the interesting part about this is so I am familiar with energy, and I do feel a lot of energy in my like third eye region, crown chakra region. Maybe you can ask him what that's about.
What is that about? That's him trying to communicate.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say this is a fail. I think me I do feel energy in general. I can give you guys a proper evaluation on if there is something happening, and I definitely had a cold breeze of energy flowering from my third eye chakra. But I guess we'll have to leave it at that.
I'm going
Um,
to ask him to step out now.
sure.
Okay, he's out. He said, "Thank you for that experience."
Oh, for sure. It's I don't know.
But now you need to ground and protect. So I'm grounding you and protecting you.
Thank you. I mean, so what's interesting about that is, obviously he steps into Robert Gauthier like I think
Oh,
once a week.
I did not know that.
Well, I mean he's channeled, so I mean he literally takes over Robert. Uh, so yeah, on that note, I mean I feel like we should at least look at the photo. So I mean there's Robert Gauthier, and I have no idea if that's how you pronounce his last name. Sorry, I already told him we do these videos about him. He's cool. Love this guy. He's like the coolest guy ever. So anyways, here's Robert, and Meredith definitely talks to him a whole lot. And he says he's from the planet Deneb.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, so what I'm getting at is, can you ask Meredith if it was any different being in my body versus Robert?
Is there any difference between being in, for some reason, connecting now makes me feel unwell to Erediff. I don't know why.
Oh,
Um, is there, I think he's trying to come into my body now, and I'm like, no, my body's off limits.
wow.
That's what it was. He was trying to come into my body. Um, Sorry, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Uh, is there any difference? Yeah, there's a big difference. You're far healthier and your consciousness is very different.
Hmm.
And there's a lot more resistance with you than with Robert.
Okay, and let's do a very small touch on that fact. So, just because this will be interesting for people who want to learn how to channel, Robert does. Oh man, I'm gonna butcher what it is. I want to call it like Himalayan. I don't know. Buddhist. He does these like throat sounds. It sounds like the Australian bonobo tube or whatever those tubes are. Those big
Oh, the didgeridoo?
oh those loud sticks. Anyways, he does it with his throat, and it's at the beginning of every episode. Um, can you just? I feel bad for. I mean, are you okay asking your another question or?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It was just if you could ask if the voice style of meditation he does, if that actually helps people learn how to channel.
The voice style meditation that he does to actively help people learn how to channel. If they have the ability already, yes.
Yeah. Okay, we can let Meredith go. It's just this throat sound, and I don't know. Robert basically he does it every time. It's it's just
Hmm.
a style of meditation. And I feel
Wow.
like it's similar to what monks might do, because monks are doing mantras and like these, om sounds. So the om is a very sacred sound. And what's interesting is that from a lot of different, I don't know, sources of information, the om sound is supposedly the same frequency as the earth, like what the earth's vibration is if you were to say om. So maybe we can ask Jesus that.
Is that the same frequency? as the Earth's vibration. No, it's not exactly the same, but it's close enough.
Yeah, so you guys can just, look at that. It is very good stuff to listen to. I think it's cool. But yeah, I mean, so that's the theory is, these monks spend years doing this, and all of a sudden, supposedly, they're start reaching higher levels of consciousness by chanting, and they're all chanting, and we have to just wonder if this chanting is helping them reach the higher frequencies.
Is the chanting helping them reach the higher frequencies? Yes, it does.
Why?
Why does it help them reach the higher frequencies? Because it becomes a state of being. It becomes an open portal.
And this is Jesus.
Yes.
Can we ask Jesus if it's better to think of the vibration of the earth or better to think of like the vibration of like the universe when trying to, do what everyone's doing right here? They're all trying to reach nirvana, a state of oneness with source energy.
Is it better to focus on the universe or is it better to focus on the earth plane? No, it's better to focus on the universe and connecting to God.
What does Jesus think gets in the way for most humans who are attempting this? Because people spend their whole lives, and it's probably a very small rate of people that actually reach this state of being. Can we ask Jesus what's in the way for people usually?
The conscious mind, it won't let go.
So Jesus thinks we need to let go more and do what instead?
You have to let your conscious mind go and allow the energy to flow within you.
Okay, and something interesting is that a lot of these Buddhist monks know how to flow their energy through themselves very well. Can we ask Jesus why that happens?
Why does that happen? That's a mindset training.
Just mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at this. This is whole cultures developed around focusing on the inner being, the enlightenment of the soul. I think it's pretty cool. I wish, people kind of cared more about this here, but it's, indoctrinated, as they would say. It's just kind of like a from birth cultural type experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's interesting and whatever, but I don't know enough about monks to go too much further, but I do know that there's some myths about, the best monk being able to like float. Can we ask Jesus if a monk can achieve levitation through deep whatever meditation and stuff?
Can a monk achieve levitation? Yes, very easily, actually.
How does Jesus say we should learn how to levitate?
It's
That's
about
my
letting
goal.
go of all elements and aspects of consciousness. So, not just the conscious mind, but the subconscious and the soul consciousness.
So if we 100% let go, does Jesus say that we might start floating, or do we have to set the intention that we are going to levitate beforehand?
Naturally, we can float. It's almost like we're letting go of the consciousness and allowing ourselves to be reabsorbed back into source. We're going home. And
Yeah,
that's what lifts us.
interesting.
Mm,
Well,
very.
I mean, I think it's fun, but I've tried obviously, and I haven't floated myself. So, I mean, I am also not, you know, 20 years into this stuff, but this is a whole lifetime of work for these people, I'm sure. But anyways, I think that's a good spot to end this video. And you know, if anyone has any questions, you can shoot them in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. This was very unique. And if anyone would like to get in touch with Mr. Robot, can you put your site back up there for us, please? You've got
Yeah,
a YouTube channel, which is
that'll work.
Everything from Above.
Everything from above, the higher mind. I mean, that should take you here, hopefully. And I got my website right there. Or you could just go to my website, of course.
Yeah, myhealing.site. Well, thank you
There you
so
go.
much for this wonderful video. And I'm sure your fans will be happy to hear you again. Hopefully, we will do another video soon. So, thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry for being alien centric, but it's kind of the only information I'm like interested in.
No, it's good. It brings another level to the channel. So, thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks.